Hello everyone who's watching. We are Health Satans, and in this video we will be talking about the consumer indicators of one country of Europe. To be more specific, about Germany. First of all, I'm going to be starting this presentation by giving you a little bit information about this country, getting to know it a little before starting it. As we know, Germany is known for its people, for its traditions. Germans are mostly known for making the best beer in the world, for making the best cars, like Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Volkswagen, and others. This country belongs to the European Union, which other countries like Bulgaria, Spain, France, Slovenia, Slovakia are also part of. The capital of Germany is Berlin, and it has been the icon of this country for all the history. It has been the scenario of TV shows or movies and has its own place in history, as we all know, for the Berlin Wall and its fall in 1989. Germany has a total population of 2.02 million people. Their official language is German, and mostly all of them have a full knowledge of English.
The consumerism in Germany tends to be one of the country's savers, low risk takers, and reluctant investors, but near zero interest rates are eating into savings at a time when the sound economy is boosting disposable incomes.
As it is known, this indicator works to measure consumers' confidence in their economy. If they will have a job or they will spend their money in the next 12 months, or how they will be their economy of their own, or how it's going to be the economy of the country itself. Germany has been known for maintaining a high confidence indicator, reaching of an all-time high of 16.80 points in March of 2001. But due to the current pandemic caused by COVID-19 that is needed to mention in this presentation, I have to make that clear. The confidence indicator on the Germans has dropped to a historical number because the consumer trust indicator fell to a negative 23.4 in March of 2020. This number has been the lowest on record as consumers felt for the first time the limits that the coronavirus has caused. The closure of schools, the closure of business and productions of companies and others. The income expectation and the willingness to buy in the future remain to free fall. Currently, the aforementioned pandemic that has given to talk a lot in this year has caused disasters for Germany and obviously to one of the most powerful countries in Europe. This virus has been a hard hit for Germany, and according to economists, this is quite possible that the country, like all Europe itself, will go into a recession for COVID-19.
So as we know, the inflation can tell us if country's economy is going properly well or bad. It is based on the CPI data in every country. The CPI is the Consumer Price Index. Germany's Consumer Price Index growth was measured at 0.9% in April on 2020, compared with a rate of 1.3% in the previous month. Germany's economy shrunk by 2.2% as the coronavirus pandemic pushed it into recession. 2020 is the biggest fall in over a decade. Services inflation is to 1.3% from 1.4%, with rent cost rising 1.4% versus 1.5%. Meanwhile, goods inflation slowed to 0.3% from 1.3% in March, mainly due to a fall in energy prices, minus 5.8% versus minus 0.9%. Talking about food inflation, it accelerated to 4.8% in April. The harmonized index of consumer prices rose by 0.8% from a year earlier, 2019, and by 0.4% from the previous month. On 2011 from to 2020 period of time, the inflation had a lower percentage. On 2016, the percentage was mainly relatively low, minus 0.100%, whereas it was still 2019 when inflation reached a higher percentage, 2,030%, which means goods and services had an increase in their price.
An important aspect of the work-personal balance is the amount of hours that person works. Although most of the time working more means having more money in your paycheck at the end of the week, but it also means way less time to dedicate to our life and our daily basis activities. In Germany, more than 4% of employees have a work schedule really long, considerably less than the OCDE average of 11%, and among them, 6% of men work long hours compared to only 2% of women. The way this relates to the consumers is be having a really big working schedule entails a life with a big amount of stress and a little time for other activities. As an example of cooking our own food, in consequence of the long working hours, the Germans, same as other workers, tends to buy food to like out.
Employment. As we all know, Germany is one of the leaders countries in different areas, and the reality of this European country is that they know how to work in different categories as a leader and being an example for the other nations. I like to point out what is the employment indicator of this country. In Germany, around the 75% of the population in working age has a recompensed job, and only 1.6% or even less of the same population is occupied. These diverse methods that the Germans use had been successful because in November of the last year, Germany reported the lowest number of unemployed in its history despite Brexit. This positive development of the German labor market has its origin in high consumption, which compensates for the weakness of some industrial sectors, especially the automobile, affected by the difficult situation of the world trade and the adaptation to the new developments related with electromobility.
Okay, family income. It's pretty clear that money doesn't buy happiness, but still the income that Germany makes a choice is pretty important when buying grocery and other goods or service is needing incident of the expenses generated via German family, health care, education, and for are the ones that are the most important. The family income is around for 34,294 per year. This number had a 23% rise in the 10 years from 2004 to 2014. Also, this number exceeds the average of the UCDE family income in 2015. Germany trying to modify the income of the minimum wage of the population that did not have a decent income to survive and boosting good in some sort of way the percentage of poverty and unemployed drown. In general, the Germans are way more satisfied with their life than the average that the UCD says. The Germans were asked to rate their general satisfaction in a 0 and 10 scale, and they gave an average grade of 7.
We can say our conclusion is that Of what we've seen of these indicators, we have came to a conclusion that Germany is one of the strongest countries in Europe, not only because Germany is a leader in almost all of the market in general, because thanks to these indicators, we know how this country cares for its people, trying to increase the minimum wage for the families. The low rate of employment and inflation, and the Germans being professional shoppers and money savers, and for having a stable consumer confidence indicator for a long time. It doesn't make us doubt how Germany is a first world country and with its own history, also justifies the behavior of the German, which is what makes this country stand out from the rest and is one of the main world powers.